Hello, good day, guys. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope the lightning is fine. I have my, studio lights, ring lights here, so I hope you can see me live and colored and clear. Welcome, everyone, to this live video. Today, we're going to be talking about an exciting topic. Okay, so let me pull out as usual, we're using information directly from the law. That's where I do my review and then come to you to, give you all the information that you need to have to be able to file good applications and to be able to get as your approval as high as possible. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Drop me a comment as usual. Show me some sweet love, some virtual love through the screen. Welcome, guys. Okay, so let's get right to it. So today we're going to be talking about something called standards of proof. And as usual, I'm going to be breaking it down and making it very simple and exciting, legal terminology and trying to understand the law can be, when you're reading it directly from the law books, they can be extremely technical and sometimes very confusing. So we're going to be breaking it down and making it really, really simple and exciting. I'll be giving exciting examples, and then I'll make all these things come alive to you. Don't forget to share this live video with your family and friends. As I always tell you, US immigration status is always a secret for many people. People go and come and they look like they're US citizens, but you'll be shocked. I have people tell me, people think I'm a US citizen because I sit in my car and go and come. They don't know I'm dealing with, I'm not documented. So share this video, share this live video. And thank you so much for, to everyone that's been sharing the videos, the law videos that we do. I spend so much time studying the law just to bring you all the scoop. So we're starting with standards of proof. Welcome, guys. Show me some love. Drop me a comment and let me know you're here with me. Standard of proof. When we're talking about standard of proof, we're talking in US immigration about what is the amount of evidence, what is that standard that you have to meet for the person who's reviewing your petition or the adjudicator to say, yes, I'm going to grant him what he's asking for, or I'm going to approve his application. Okay, so we're going to be using the basic example of a marriage-based green card. If you're filing a marriage-based green card, there's a standard that you have to meet. You as the petitioner of that application, there is a standard that you have to meet in order for the adjudicator to state that yes, you have met the standard. Hello, Philip Jamefy. Hello, you're very welcome. I hope you are doing great. Thank you so much for joining. So we're talking about standards of proof, and I've done in a previous video, I've talked about burden of proof. When you're doing any type of US application, remember that the burden of proof is on you. You as the benefit requester, you are the one asking, you ask the US government, please give me a green card. Please grant me citizenship. You have the burden to establish or to show them that you deserve US citizenship or you deserve a green card. The standard of proof just simply means that there's a certain amount of evidence that you need to take to the US government and to show them that, yes, you are entitled to the benefits that you are seeking. Okay, guys. Hello, Janet Davis. Hi, I'm checking in from sunny Maryland. As always, we're very happy to have you here, Janet. We really appreciate your presence and your company on this live video. Okay, so guys, the standard means the amount of evidence. That's your standard of proof. The burden of proof is always on you, the person, the foreigner, or your US citizen spouse, for example, the petitioner, to establish that, yes, you deserve what you're asking for. The standard means that, yes, you have all the required evidence and you're supposed to show a certain amount of evidence before your petition will be approved. Okay. So the type of evidence you're going to be submitting has to be, number one, relevant. We'll break all these types of evidence down, and then I'll give you, very clear examples so that you can understand what they are looking for when they pick up your application. Number one, the evidence has to be relevant. Number two, it has to be probative. Number three, it has to be credible evidence. So that's what we talk about, the standard of proof. These are the types of evidence. Number one, relevant. Let's talk about relevant evidence. So, for example, if you're applying maybe as a foreigner, you're from some part of Asia, or you originally come from some part of Africa, and you have a spouse who is a U.S. citizen, and he's filing a petition on your behalf. So your spouse, or let's say your husband, says to the U.S. government that I'm applying for my wife to become to adjust her status if she's here in the US, and for my wife to be granted a green card, and then my wife can become a US citizen just like me. The burden is on you, the US husband, to show the government that your wife deserves a green card and your wife deserves, citizenship in a later application. But when you're doing this application, you have to submit relevant evidence. Okay, the Immigration and Nationality Act gives U.S. citizens the right to petition for their foreign spouses, or their alien spouses, or their foreign-born spouses. And so, if, let's say, as a foreign U.S. citizen man is called John, and he has a foreign-born wife called Maria, okay? John has now filed a petition to the USCIS for Maria, telling the government, the USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, that I want to file for my wife. I want my wife to become a green card holder. John has to submit relevant evidence, and the relevant evidence here would be what type of evidence will make a fact true, or makes it more or less true. And so if John is filing for Maria as his wife, relevant evidence will not include John showing us pictures of John and his mother. That's not relevant. What has that got to do with Maria? We don't need to see John and his mother, that, oh, John says that, oh, that's my mother. And so what? That's not relevant. However, if John presents evidence of John and Maria having dinner or on a vacation, that's relevant evidence. Why is this relevant evidence? This is because these pictures, or the evidence, is establishing that there is a marital or a romantic relationship between John and Maria. So relevant evidence means that this evidence that you are producing is going to bolster a fact, or is going to make the fact true, or tell the person who's reviewing your form that, oh, that's true, meaning it's relevant. Okay, relevant evidence for a marriage-based green card will not mean John showing records of his gym membership. What has that got to do with filing for Maria? It's irrelevant. It's not relevant evidence. Okay, and so there are things that you need to be careful when you are submitting. It has to be relevant evidence. I'm making it very simple, but you have to make sure that the evidence is relevant. And so if there's any evidence, for example, where there's a house where John lives, his address, his physical address, it is the same house where Maria lives, and we have the lease agreement that is dated back 2014, and they're filing the petition in 2021, and Maria and John are both joint joint owners of the property. That is definitely relevant evidence, because it goes to show that Maria and John are truly married and they live life together. So relevant evidence, as I'm saying, is simply evidence that makes a fact more or less probable than it would be without the evidence. So simply put, if we show that Maria and John own a house together, it makes the fact that they are married more true. So that's relevant, okay? And any evidence that doesn't show that they are married is irrelevant. And so if John shows us evidence that he likes to read, that's his hobby, and that he has bought 1,000 books from Amazon within the past month, that's irrelevant to the petition he's filing. Okay, guys. So if John is married to Maria and John wants to petition for Maria, telling us that John loves to read and showing us evidence of buying books from Amazon is clearly irrelevant. So you don't include such an evidence. So the evidence, number one, has to be relevant. Let's move on to the second. Let's move on to the second discussion, guys. The second point. So the second point is that the evidence has to be. I'm sorry. That was a slide. Okay, so the evidence has to be probative. Probative evidence means that the evidence it makes the evidence, you are proving the evidence. So it means when we say it's probative, that evidence makes a point more true or less true. Okay, so when we say that let's say John is married to Maria, probative evidence is evidence that is also relevant or not relevant. Like if it's, so it can be relevant evidence, but it can be more probative or less probative. Okay, so more probative evidence means that let's say John and Maria, we said they are married. John is a US citizen, Maria is his wife, and they love each other so much. What is probative evidence? If they have children together, let's say they have 4 children together, and on the birth certificate of those children, these children are named, mother and father. Mother's name is Maria, father's name is John, and these are parents of the 4 children. That is probative evidence that really, really proves that John and Maria, live a life together. They share 4 children. What more? Like, they share 4 children. That's really probative evidence. However, evidence of Maria and John just having, a picture of them having dinner, it's a little bit less probative, because I could have dinner even with a stranger that I just met 2 days ago, because we want to establish a business relation. Okay, so that the probative evidence, the evidence has to be probative. It has to have a high probative value, meaning that it has to show, and it has to make the point you're trying to establish more true. So if you're filing any type of US application, you have to make sure that what you are filing for, the basis for which you're filing for, you are proving it. You have evidence that has probative value to actually prove that you qualify for the benefit you are filing. Okay, guys. So let's take an example. When you're filing an I-130, which is a petition for an alien relative, you need to establish if you are the mother of a US citizen. Let's say you're a US citizen. John, again, is filing for his mother, who happens not to be a US citizen. His mother is from maybe Asia or from Africa. Let's say his mother is called Lupita, and John is the US citizen filing for Mama Lupita. John will need to show probative evidence. What's that probative evidence? That Lupita is indeed John's mother. And so John has to show that, okay, he has a birth certificate that names John as the child and Lupita as the mother. That is very probative, because it shows that, yes, indeed, that's a birth certificate that covers John, and John is the child of Lupita. Oh my goodness, from Johnny Richard Nelson Ishen. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been a long time. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody that has joined in. Show me some love. Drop me a comment. Drop me your questions, related to this video, and then I'll try to answer them. So as I was saying, the evidence has to be probative. So whatever type of U.S. immigration benefit you're applying for, make sure that you are submitting probative evidence. And that is my work. I look at every application with a technical and the legal eye. I should be able to tell, this evidence is not relevant, this evidence is not probative, we need this that will bolster your case more or less, or let's take this out, let's add this, you have more of this evidence will clarify this point. So those are some of the things that lawyers do to make your application packet a complete and a very solid one. Let's go to the final type of evidence. The final characterization of evidence is that evidence has to be credible. Whatever type of evidence you're submitting has to be credible, right? So imagine that you have a friend and they're telling you something that happened to them, and what they're saying is not credible. Credibility simply means that, does this thing that you're saying, is it believable or it's not believable? To the reasonable mind, does this sound... So if you tell me that, oh my goodness, lawyer Ikuya, yesterday I actually flew with my wings, that is not credible. Nobody is going to believe it. But if you tell me that, oh, lawyer Ikuya, yesterday I ate pizza, well, that's pretty credible. Why not? Pizza is available to be bought, and so you ate it. But if you tell me that, oh, yesterday I actually met ex-President Trump and I hugged him, and you live in, let's say, Nigeria, and President Trump is in America, that is not credible, because how did you meet President Trump? Okay. And also, if you tell me that you're 12 years old and you have a 5-year-old son, that is not credible to the reasonable mind. That is incredible, and that is not believable evidence. Okay, so credibility just simply means that the evidence is credible, it's believable to the reasonable mind, and it goes to prove your case. So when we talk about the fact that, let's say, again, we come to a marriage-based green card, and John is filing for Maria. John is a U.S. citizen. Maria is from, let's say, Mexico. They need to provide credible evidence that they intend to establish a life together, and that intent was formed at the time they got married. And so if at the time, let's say John and Maria got married in 2020, and at the time they got married, John already had a wife. He was already married and then got married to Maria. It's not credible. Nobody's going to believe that they intended to. In fact, you cannot even get married to Maria when you have a subsistent marriage. And so that application from the get-go or from the onset, has no merit. It has no basis. Okay, so just try to submit credible evidence that the reasonable man will believe that, yes, this is capable of happening. And for example, if John, the U.S. citizen, met Maria yesterday and they got married today, if you file an application claiming that at the time you got married today you intended to, that's not credible, because you can't meet somebody yesterday and already form an intent to spend the rest of your life together. No reasonable man will believe that is credible. You see, because one of the factors of applying for a marriage-based green card is that you intend to establish life together. It's simply not credible that you meet somebody and in a few hours you want to spend the rest of your life with them. Doesn't happen, won't happen. It just simply is not credible. Okay, guys, so beware of that. You need to submit relevant evidence. Number one, you need to submit probative evidence. It needs to prove a fact. Relevant means that it has to be relevant to what you're applying for. And number three, it has to be credible. It has to be credible. And if you're filing, for example, for a marriage-based green card, and then you are submitting a marriage certificate, and this marriage certificate is written by hand, says that, oh, John is married to Maria. This evidence is just a piece of paper that has been written with a black pen. It's not credible, because a marriage certificate is not written with a black pen. A marriage certificate has to be issued by an authority that is noted, and that is responsible for issuing marriage certificates. That issuing authority has to, so that document you are presenting as your marriage certificate has to be credible. If you've just torn a piece of paper and written John is married to Maria, that piece of evidence cannot be credible as a marriage certificate. okay, and has very little probative value. Okay, so these are just very simple examples because I want all of us to appreciate the law and understand what's going on. So guys, just be careful when you're applying for any type of US immigration benefits. Make sure your evidence you're submitting is relevant, probative, and credible. Let's go back to the standard of proof. We're almost done, guys, so keep sticking with me. Okay, so when you are applying for a benefit, what is happening is that the officer must, with a combination of these three things, the officer who's reviewing your application must believe that your claim is probably true, or it's more likely than not to be true. It means that you, the benefit requester, you have satisfied the standard of proof. Okay, so you have to submit these types of evidence, and there has to be the amount that will lead the officer who's looking at your application that okay, well, it's probably true that these two intend to establish life together. And so if John met Maria, let's say 2 years ago, and they have been dating for the past 2 years, or well, maybe for the past 1 year, you've submitted relevant evidence of how you met, you've submitted probative evidence, that, oh, you've been living together, you've submitted credible evidence that, yes, you have, let's say, children together, you have properties together. Then the officer will say, it's probably true that Maria is married to John and John is married to Maria, and they intend to establish their life together. Why shouldn't we give Maria a green card? They've established this, that definitely they are married and all that. So if the requester, you, the benefit requester, you have not met this standard, then it's appropriate that the officer will decide that, look, we want an RFE, that's request for further evidence. They will request for more evidence, or they'll request they'll issue you a notice of intent to deny, a NOID, or they could deny your case outrightly. Okay, so when you get some of these things, they're just telling you to come again, come with more evidence, bring further evidence, establish your case some more. We're not convinced, bring us some more evidence, bring us some more evidence. It's just like somebody tells you, look, I'm the best cook in the world. And then they cook some Ghana jollof for you, you taste it, you're like, this is good, but bring me some more evidence. Bring me some, that's what they call the RFE. Bring me some more evidence. Bring me fufu, or bring me banku, bring me tilapia, bring me fish. And then I can establish that, yes, indeed, you are the best cook in the world. Jollof alone is not enough to establish that you are the best cook in the world. Okay, guys? So that's all they're trying to do. They want more evidence, but the more evidence has to be very strategic. It has to be relevant. It has to be probative. It has to be credible. And you, as a layman who's not an attorney, will not be able to establish. If you see, what I tell people is that sometimes some people file applications and they are approved, and sometimes it's just by mere coincidence. Okay, guys, you might sail through, but the ordinary person who's not a lawyer doesn't know all these things that they have to be proving. And so they just file it, and then when they get denied, they don't understand, and they're like, but I sent everything, I filed the thing, I filled the forms. It's not just about filling forms. There's a standard of proof you have to meet, and this standard is defined by law. There's a legal definition, and there's a legal threshold that you have to cross in order to establish this standard. Guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. I know law is quite boring, but I'm just trying my best to make it exciting and to make it, to bring it to life to you guys. Emmanuel Zion says, Ghana jollof, the best. Absolutely, guys. Yes. We're not trying to get our Nigerian brothers angry here, but Ghana jollof is definitely the best. So guys, that's pretty much it. So when we say that, so normally what happens is that when we usually when it comes to administrative proceedings, like some of these applications, the regular standard for US immigration is by a preponderance of the evidence. That is the standard that you have to meet, okay, by a preponderance of evidence. So it's exactly right here. The standard of proof applied in most administrative immigration cases is the preponderance of the evidence. Preponderance of the evidence is a very, very, very simple standard. It just means that, as I said, it's probably true that, yes, what you're filing for, you qualify. Like maybe John is the husband of Maria. So yes, you've established by the preponderance of the evidence. And once you satisfy that, you'll be granted your request. Okay, so that is not the standard applied to all immigration law cases, but the most of them. So remember that the preponderance of evidence, when we measure it, usually is greater than 50% of of something occurring. Okay, so if I tell you that if I tell you that I'm actually going to eat dinner tonight, it's probably true. It's probably true. It's the likelihood that I'll eat dinner tonight is greater than 50% probability of occurring. So it's likely that I'll eat, because it's only what time is it? 2:40. I may not be able to stay hungry till tomorrow morning. So it's probably true that I'll eat. That's the kind of standard they're looking for. So it's not too high of a standard. Okay. Remember that by the preponderance of evidence is lower than clear and convincing evidence, which is higher, and beyond every reasonable doubt is also higher than clear and convincing evidence. Beyond every reasonable doubt is usually used in criminal cases. So that's a very high standard, but by a preponderance of evidence is quite low. So it's not too difficult. U.S. immigration law cases are quite, you just have to be technical and strategic in the type of evidence that you're presenting to the adjudicator. And, you'll be able to get what you need. Okay, does not apply to cases where different standards. Okay, yeah, so you just note that when we say that by preponderance of evidence is used in U.S. immigration law cases, it doesn't apply to all cases. Sometimes the law will specify that with this particular case or application, you need a higher standard, or you need a different standard, clear and convincing evidence, or whatever. So just be mindful of the different standards in different cases. Kojo Emmanuel says, lawyer, thanks for your advice, but when we call you, we want you to talk to us, we Ghanaians, so that we can explain things to you. I understand, Emmanuel, but unfortunately, I don't talk to clients without a booked consultation. I'm doing my best to give you guys great free legal advice. Information. I shouldn't say legal advice, because this is more information. Our ethics and our insurance tells us that you cannot give legal advice to people who are not your clients. Okay, so those are some of the things that I have to be mindful of. I'm giving as much of my time as possible to help and to break down U.S. immigration law, so that whoever wants to do their application by themselves, of course, you're welcome. But always remember, it's recommended that you seek the assistance of an attorney. And I have hundreds of requests. People want to speak with me, but I have lots of client work to finish up. I have so much work to do, so much caseload. So without a prepaid consultation, unfortunately, I will not be able to speak with you. So if you are looking for your special time with me, please go ahead and book a consultation. It's very effective and it's worth it. I'll take my time and help you with what you're looking for, and then we'll make sure that we get you a solution. All right, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. I've been with you very long today. I will come your way again very soon. I wish you guys are all staying safe. Wash your hands. Are you guys wearing your masks? I know some states in the US have said, well, they're going to be doing away with the masks, but well, keep your mask on. Some people are even putting on double masks. Sure, that's like good. Wash your hands, use your sanitizer, social distance, stay warm, and be blessed. We will talk again very, very soon. Hello, Ajwalo. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really, really appreciate you coming on here to be with us. All right, guys, thank you so much. So if you have any type of US immigration law problem, or you have a friend, or you know somebody, just share with your family and let them book a consultation with me, and then I will help them with what their legal issue is. Thanks so much for sticking with me. We will speak again soon. Take care, and bye-bye.